עורך דין פיליפ קרוזה, נמצא איתנו בזום, אם אפשר בבקשה. Welcome.
Yes, hello, dear Chairman and members of the committee. Thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Philipp Kruse, attorney at law in Zurich, Switzerland. It's a great honor for me to be allowed to speak in your committee meeting, and I congratulate your committee for convening together in order to discuss this important WHO matter to the benefit of public health in your country and for the preservation of sovereignty. Please be assured you are not alone in this challenging process. There are many other parliaments and parliamentary committees that ask exactly and discuss the same questions right now, which is the case in Italy, in Slovakia, in Hungary, and also in my home country, Switzerland. By way of a self-introduction, I am an attorney at law since 1997, specialized in tax and public law. I have an own independent law firm. Now, since 2020, I've led many court cases related to the COVID crisis, and regarding the World Health Organization, I've served as an expert witness for members of parliaments in different countries, among others, Sweden, the United States, upon invitation of the Republican Senator Ron Johnson in a special expert hearing in the United States Senate, but also in the German Bundestag in April 2024. My prime motive is to serve in helping the political decision makers to understand and to make the right decision regarding protecting their own people's health and protecting their country's, your country's sovereignty. Now, speaking about today's topic, I understand that there's only very limited time of 3 minutes, so I'll try to be as short and precise as possible. Now, speaking about these main targets, sovereignty and public health. One of the most important pillars for a sovereign and good decision-making process in health matters is information. Reliable and accurate information in scientific and medical matters can only be obtained and ensured through an open and free scientific debate process, through competition of the best scientists of your country included, not just by one voice. And only this will allow the decision makers to optimize your capacity to judge and ultimately to consider the many different aspects of your regional special situation and the challenges of individual different needs. Because there's no such thing in medicine as one size fits all. So whether it is about the assessment of health risks or about the best methods for diagnostics or the best protocols for protection and treatment in favor of protecting health and the people, we need free science. Now here we have an important point. Unfortunately, the WHO is not an advocate of free science and free scientific debate. We have seen that under the COVID-19 crisis with respect to the question, was COVID-19 really the most dangerous threat to mankind? With respect to the crisis, was there really no better alternative treatment protocol? And with respect to questions like, were the promoted treatment protocols really safe and effective? Your scientists will know the answer. So, dear honorable members of this Knesset committee, this is where your sovereign good decision-making process is either supported and honored with the constant stream and help of an open, competitive science concept, or where it is reduced and limited to the voice of just one single global institution. Now I become more concrete. Looking at Annex 1 of the amended IHR, it confirms in explicit words the already existing principle of restricting free science and free speech in your country as in every other signatory state as well. It says in Annex 1 that member states shall develop, strengthen, and maintain the core capacities for risk communication, including addressing misinformation and disinformation. And this goes to the heart of the decision-making process. And this is not a new concept. It is just the formalized confirmation of what was practiced already under COVID for many years now. By accepting this provision, you would allow the WHO the power to predefine the decision-making elements for your country. And ultimately, this is a direct attack on the sovereignty of your country. But this is not the only thing to mention. We need to understand that with accepting these IHR amendments, every government would allow the WHO to officially declare even highly experimental and not tested new gene therapy products to be the sole indispensable way to protect your population from a certain pathogen. And your scientists, your media, and your courts will not be allowed to contradict this almighty notion, this notion of almighty truth of one organization. In legal terms, there will be no checks and no balances to protect your sovereign decision-making process. And one last point, please allow, and this is this concept of Annex 1, which so far exists under the term of infodemics, is not the only point that is in conflict with the principle of sovereignty and of informed consent. Even more prominently, we do have one of the most mandatory provisions ever created in international law. I'm talking about the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights of the United Nations, Article 7. It says, it reads, now, I quote, "No one shall be subjected to medical or scientific experimentation without his or her voluntary consent." And please don't make any mistake here. This is an absolute rule without any exception. Why? Because Article 4 of the same covenant reads that this provision applies even in time of public emergency, which threatens the life of the nation and is officially proclaimed. So here, there's absolutely no excuse for the WHO to actually break this eternal rule. The combination of the notion of information control, infodemics, together with WHO's power to define relevant health products, even if they are utmost experimental nature, is most frightening and dangerous. And this is the most frightening example of these IHR amendments, how they suspend the sovereignty of your country as a whole in health matters, but also eliminating the right of informed consent in most existential treatment matters. Now, of course, there are many other points to mention, and I must come to an end. The other points are certainly mentioned already here in this committee. The extended discretion of the General Director of the World Health Organization to declare and extend a WHO pandemic without any good reason and without any double checking of such far-reaching declaration. Then the digital health and vaccination pass, the total absence of any kind of control and checks and balances, and most notably, the undue influence from third parties with business interests. I thank you very much for allowing me to speak here. It has been a great honor. And of course, I stay at your disposal for any further assistance in this matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Philipp. Thank you.